Hello, welcome or welcome back. Today I am talking about how to live from the end of what it is that you want to experience in your imagination using your senses, because it's your senses that is going to make your imagined reality more real, and that's what we want to do. That's what's really important, and that's what I'm talking about today, so stick around. My name is Hedley Derenzie. I am a qualified life coach, adult educator, and author. I am also passionate about the amazing teachings of the law of assumption as originally taught by the wonderful Neville Goddard. It is the stories that create our life. So if you want to change your life, you have to change the story. And if you want to create the most amazing life, then you need to know how to tell the most amazing stories. And that is why I'm here. I love stories. I'm a storyteller. I am telling myself amazing stories, and my life is transforming as a result of that, and I want to help you to do the same. If you would like further support, I am available for one-on-one coaching or email coaching. My contact details are in the box below. You can also stay connected with me on Instagram, and those details are in the box below as well. So today we are talking about how to feel what it is that you want into being through the power of your imagination, specifically by engaging your senses in your imagination, which sounds a bit weird, but I'm going to explain how this works and how actually simple we do it anyway. So we may as well do it consciously and do it to bring in what it is that we want in our life. Neville talks a lot about living from the end as opposed to of the end. There is a really big difference with that. When we think of something, we are observing it from afar. Let's use the lottery, for example. A lot of people will talk about winning the lottery. They think about winning the lottery from the position of where they are now, having not won it. They're like, if I ever won the lottery, I'd do this and this. They're not thinking from that place of having won the lottery. Big difference. And so, yeah, go ahead and win the lottery with that one. It's a big difference. And the way we do that is through, obviously, the power of our imagination, specifically engaging our senses, because what keeps us bound to reality, which is just an expression of consciousness, it's just the outpicturing of it, is our senses. We live in a physical world. It looks and feels very real. And it is, don't get me wrong, we live in a world that is a very real existence to that in that way from a physical perspective. However, it is just a reflection of consciousness. And the way we get trapped in reality and kind of caught up with it is because we're so attached to those physical sensations of touch, sight, sound, smell, taste. Those sensations keep us locked in reality. And therefore, if we stay locked in reality, we're not really creating any new future for ourselves. We're just repeating the same patterns. We're doing the same things because we're being informed by reality rather than employing our consciousness to then inform or create reality. So we want to flip all of this on its head, and we do that with our imagination and by becoming bound to our senses, to the sensory experience in our imagination. And you might be going, what the hell is she talking about? And that's what I want to explain today, because it is really important that when we are engaging our imagination to think from that end of what we want to experience, the way we're going to be able to do that is if we employ our senses, our sensory capacity in our imagination, which we do anyway. But a lot of us are not really conscious that that's what we're doing. So I want to give you an example that will kind of make this a little bit more digestible, let's say. So I want you to, in your mind, in your imagination, to think of a dog. You can close your eyes. You might not need to close your eyes, but I really want you to see the dog. I want you to see what color it is, what's its face looks like, what breed of dog is it. You might get an image of a particular dog. And I just want you to see that. Now, you have just engaged the sensation of sight using your imagination. There is no dog in front of you, unless there is, but there's no dog generally in front of you when I asked you to do that. You're simply where you are, wherever you are, and I asked you to imagine a dog, and you were able to do that. Now I want you to imagine patting the dog, and I want you to feel what it is like to pat that dog. Feel the fur of that dog on your hands. and to feel yourself patting. It's so funny, as I'm doing this, it's like I'm patting a dog. You have just engaged the sense of touch, yet you are not patting a dog. That there's no dog in front of you and you are not patting a dog, and yet you are able to create the sensation of feeling the dog against your hand through your imagination. Now I want you to smell the dog. This might be a little tricky, but you can do it. Close your eyes and imagine what it would smell like if you put your nose up to the dog and just inhaled the scent of this dog, or perhaps you put your face up to the face of this dog and you can smell that dog breath, and if it's your own dog, then it's the best smell in the world. If it's not your own dog, then it's pretty gross. But either way, just allow your imagination to smell that dog. And that can be a little trickier, but it certainly, just give yourself a bit more time and allow yourself to have that experience. And then you've just engaged the sense of smell in your imagination, having no dog in front of you and no dog to smell. And now I want you to hear the dog barking. Imagine this dog barking, and I want you to listen to the sound of the bark. What's the intensity of this bark? What sort of, if you know the breed of this dog, you'll know the sound of this bark, but I want you to hear the bark. As I'm saying this, I can literally hear a dog barking. Now you have just engaged the sense of hearing. Now I'm not going to ask you to eat the dog. If you want, you can imagine eating an orange or a piece of fruit and really feeling yourself just biting down into that piece of fruit, let's say an orange, and feeling that orange burst in your mouth and the taste of that sort of sensation in your mouth. You've just engaged the sense of taste. Now you have just done all of that in a matter of minutes using your imagination. We do this with reality all the time. We live in a sensory world, and it's our senses, our attachment to these senses, which keep us in this reality. However, we have those same senses in our imagination, and that is what is going to create the experience of having what we already want, and then allowing that to show up in our reality, because it is imagination that creates reality. It is not reality that creates imagination, unless we allow ourselves to continually become informed by reality, and then we simply we're just reacting to the 3D and we're not actually creating anything. But it is imagination that creates reality, and the way that we do that is by living from the state of the wish fulfilled. Because if it's not in our reality, then we have to engage the power of our imagination, and it has to become more natural than not having it in reality. And that's where we need to engage our senses, our sensory capacity that we have in reality, and yet we also have in our imagination. And it might be that we're not as skilled at using our senses in our imagination as we are in reality, because we just take it for granted in reality. But what we need to do is develop this muscle where our imaginings become as real as our 3D reality, and in fact more real. And then we are living more in an imagined state, and then sitting back and waiting for reality to just not even waiting, because reality will show up according to the consciousness that we create using the power of our imagination. So I really want to offer this as a tool for you, that when you are imagining that which you want, you have to put yourself as having already, in the state of already having it. So already being in the experience of having it. And how you get there is in your imagination and through the use of your senses. So if it's a job promotion and you're imagining a scene of getting that promotion, I want you to experience what it's like to be sitting in that room. What does that room smell like? What does it look like? Can you feel yourself against the seat? And you can see that other person sitting across from you. What are they wearing? What are they saying? What does their voice sound like? Really get into the experience of what you're creating in your imagination, and allow it to play out as if you're watching a movie in your mind's eye. This is all using your imagination. And then what you do, once you've got the vision, once you've got the scene, you can play it out, and you can continually play it out to where becomes very natural for you to be in this state, keeping in mind that this hasn't shown up in reality yet. You are completely in your imagination, but now you know that it is your imagination that creates reality. Reality is simply a reflection of what is playing out in your imagination repeatedly. So you want these scenes to become really natural, and that's where your senses can help. And when you start using your senses in your imagination, you'll find it will become easier and easier. And we want to become more bound to our imagined realities using our senses than we are to our 3D reality and the senses that keep us in this beautiful, wonderful, amazing 3D reality, but which is always only a reflection of our consciousness. So I hope this helps. I hope it hasn't been too confusing. Please feel free to leave some comments in the comment section and share with your family and friends, or what else? If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, please feel free to do that too. I'd love to have you, and I will look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks again. Bye.